So, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about my first impressions of Ryzeal. And I think the Ryzeal cards so far, they seem kind of like mid, honestly. So, as always, like what I evaluate a deck based on is a few things. So, my first thing I check with like every single deck is, yo, can this deck play under macro? And if it can't play under macro, I'm honestly kind of disappointed. Next thing I check is like, all right, can this play under Colossus? And then if it can play under Colossus, I mean, it's fine if it can't play under Colossus as well. But just worth double checking, I guess, because if you can play under Colossus, that means you can play under Droll as well, typically. So Droll wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then after that, it's a matter of, I guess, what was this deck actually do? And then we can start taking a look at that and how well the deck plays against hand traps. Because, getting shifted, yeah, not really the best, but alright. If we start with X Ryzeal is simultaneously cracked and simultaneously kind of crap, depending on the exact situation, right? So going second, you can send Mirror Logic Aggregator to special summon X Ryzeal, but also at the same time, this effect at the bottom. This card is normal or special summoned, and you control no other face-up monsters except for level / rank 4 monsters. You can add one Fire Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. So this effect synergizes really well with this, of course. So this is technically possible to be a one-card combo without requiring your normal summon, right? Because I believe the other Ryzeals should be able to special summon themselves uh, after you special summon X Ryzeal without requiring a normal summon. And then, of course, there's a good amount of starters you can have here, like with X Ryzeal, Bonfire. There's a lot you can do here. So Ice Ryzeal, we have that. Node Ryzeal, not so much. Not that great here. Sword Ryzeal. So here I guess it would be mostly X Ryzeal and Sword Ryzeal. Sword Ryzeal can then add a light pyro monster from your deck to your hand, which will then be, I guess, Ice Ryzeal. And then Ice Ryzeal can then special summon a Ryzeal monster from your deck, except for itself. This is any Ryzeal, right? So I can special summon another one of these guys. We can special summon, I guess, like Node Ryzeal, I guess, right? And then let's see. You can send one card from your hand or field, special summon a guy. Then we have Palm's useless, actually. Star Ryzeal. Does this one do anything? If this card is special summon, you can set one Ryzeal spell trap from your deck. So it'd probably be Star Ryzeal that we summon here. And I think all of these guys go into each other, right? So they will put off of one special summoned Ryzeal monster. I believe it should just put out everything, right? So let's see. If we start with Ice special summons what? What's this add? Light Pyro. So then we could just add X. And then X adds Fire Thunder. Is this a Fire Thunder? No, this is a Pyro. This special summons one light, or adds one light pyro. This is a light pyro, so sequence for this one is Ice or X or Sword or Star. Like the sequencing is annoying, I guess, sometimes, but I think there should be a path to having all four of these guys from every one of these guys, I think, right? Yeah. So if you start Ice, Sword, or X, you should be able to go into all of them. But X cannot activate to special summon itself if there's like a macro or fissure type effect. So you would have to normal summon it or special summon it with another Ryzeal effect. And then all of these guys, with the exception of X, they require an extra like kind of guy for the most part to special summon. I guess Ice, not so much, but with Sword. Well, actually, this doesn't work under macro because you're sending a card for cost, essentially, to special summon. And then this one as well. So Sword can be special summoned under macro, and that's the only one that you can special. And then this effect is on normal summon, right? Yeah. This one is only on special summon, so this card is kind of just like a brick or a garnet. But yeah, I mean, the amount of starters you have is a pretty high amount. And some people are playing like 7th Tachyon and stuff for more access to your Ryzeals, I guess. Not really sure if you need to or not. I haven't actually looked through all of the starters you have. So maybe, I guess it's worthwhile. I don't know. Sure. But alright. So being under macro, it turns off the abilities for these two cards of special summon. So if I literally a Ryzeal pass and you were to normal summon a guy, I should be able to just clap you up pretty hard here. I guess normal summon ice is still decent because I'd have to negate this. Otherwise, you'd have 2 Ryzeals, and I'd need to kind of like match 2 guys. Maybe. You can still special summon Sword Ryzeal, but Sword Ryzeal requires you to have a Ryzeal either on your field or graveyard, which we can kind of stop with macro. Like, Vishdira matchup doesn't seem to be that good, especially going second, right? But if you're going second against any other deck, we have the effect to send any XYZ monster from the extra deck. So in this case, it's probably going to just be Mirror Logic Aggregator. And worth mentioning is Detonator has the ability to attach any monster from your graveyard. So this can attach Mirror Logic Aggregator and then detach it again later for this effect up here or this effect down here. You trigger Mirror Logic Aggregator to negate, which is kind of annoying. And what's the other thing notable about this is that there is no actual interaction with spells or traps that are actually good in this deck. So we have Ryzeal Plasma Hole, which is actually able to destroy any card, but only face-up cards. So if I were to just have a skill drain, sure, you could technically out it if you hard open Plasma Hole, but at the same time, you need Plasma Hole, right? And if you don't search Plasma Hole, I don't really see how you're getting it. So under like Floodgates, you're not doing too hot. So starting with, let's say, Rivalry. We have Pyros, Thunders, and that already makes things a little bit worse. Playing like 2 different kind of types, and then these guys, let's see, this is a Pyro, this one's a Thunder. So if we start with X Ryzeal, we can no longer go into Duo Drive. Because of the typing on these monsters, we don't have Zeus as an option either. Against like a Rivalry. And because these guys are lights, also worth mentioning, I guess, like the majority of these guys are lights. The only non-light is Sword Ryzeal, which you were probably going to normal summon anyways, because this isn't a starter that you can just special summon out like Ice or X'd. If we were playing Quakey Meru Drago, this would bend over the deck, I feel. I don't think you can actually summon anything after you normal summon Sword Ryzeal either, so yeah. Doesn't seem great in that context. So the going second, I don't really have that high of hopes for going second here. Because, you know, if I have an Omni Negate and I just like negate Ice Ryzeal, you're not extending with Sword Ryzeal. If you have X Ryzeal, then good for you, I guess. That's not where I'm at right now. That's not great. And worth mentioning, I guess, is this deck, you can actually Black Garden the deck here, because it's like going to be like a purely XYZ deck. Also worth mentioning, I guess, is you can't really Typhon or Zeus here because you're locked into not just XYZs, but rank 4s specifically. Which, I mean, it's kind of a good thing. So it's not just something you could just splash into like every XYZ deck ever. So it fits like a solid niche. And honestly, for a while, I felt like rank 4 decks kind of just sucked. If we're talking about like the generic stuff, that you don't really have a good way to access it, which you now have with, I guess, like the Ryzeal cards. Better access, I guess. And, you know, since there is no interaction with back row, though, you can get really bent over by certain back row type cards, you know, some spells or trap action, you know, spell trap action, like evenly matched will cook pretty hard. Then, you know, you'd go like evenly, then Kaiju, that'd be pretty strong. And then we have like just Dustring the back row being pretty decent. We have triple tactics thrust to take the Detonator, which also worth mentioning, I guess, is the Ryzeal cards are kind of good against the Ryzeal cards. Yeah. So if I drop Ryzeal Detonator, the Ryzeal cards can't really beat Ryzeal Detonator. And you have Ryzeal Cross as well, which this card's pretty strong also. With the effect of negating on resolution, a monster effect from anywhere. That's, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. That's pretty strong. And then there's like recycling as well, so you could technically recycle like Plasma Hull, which is something, I guess. Don't think it's like that insane. In terms of like going first, like hand trapping this won't feel that great because there's so many starters. There's likely to be another starter in the hand, I think. Fairly likely. Or some access to another starter. I think that's like decently likely to just be possible, I guess. So yeah. I'm gonna go out on a whim here and say Ryzeal surprisingly mid. Like a lot of doomsaying constantly happening from like the Master Duel players that play like TCG, OCG as well, like from as well as Master Duel. So this is honestly kind of disappointing for me, in the sense that I thought the deck would have been stronger than this, just straight up. Yeah. The strongest part about this deck that I've seen so far is probably its rarity. Very strong rarity going on here. Same with Malice, being like 1, 2, 3 of guys that you have to like get ultras for. That kind of sucks. And then you need technically multiple copies of Duo Drive and like a Detonator as well. And technically, you could have multiple Detonators as well, right? If I drop like 3 Detonators on the field, yeah, that'd be a lot of popping. I mean, like maybe not even enough card activations from my opponent to trigger all of them, but you know, just something you could definitely do. And I mean, like, I guess it's a little bit annoying that these are inherent summons, but aside from that, is there anything super alarming I would say about the Ryzeal cards here? I mean, the hand trap resistance, like innately, I don't think they're very hand trap resistant. Like, I special summon X, I Ash this effect on X, no combo, right? I Imperm X, no combo. I Imperm Ice Ryzeal, no combo. And then if we were to have an extender, that I guess is the problem. If you have 2 cards, it's going to be a lot more hand trap resistant. But I mean, if I have an Imperm, can't I just hold it for Ryzeal Detonator? And then that cuts off like a good amount of interruptions. So even if you can just tank the Imperm, is there anything I'm worried about, like in terms of the rank 4s you can make? Are there any interruptions you can make aside from like Detonator? No clue here, really. Well, I haven't played against the deck that much yet, so we'll see, I guess. I do know that there is a way to play around like Imperm kinda and Ghost Ogre, but yeah, technically you can Ghost Ogre the Detonator as well, right? Well, actually, no, you can't because it has protection effect here. So it would have to be something else, but yeah, I mean, so far it seems fine. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.